Thank you so much, Tim, and those who have joined this particular session. My name is Charles Opio. I work for Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition based here in Kenya as the influencing and advocacy manager, but also coordinating the Scaling Up Nutrition Business Network in Kenya. Glad to be part of this particular conference today, just to share a bit more in terms of who GAIN is. So GAIN is a Swiss-based foundation launched at back in 2002 at the UN to tackle the human suffering caused by malnutrition. We work, of course, to transform food systems and to make healthier food choices to be more desirable, more available, and more affordable. But of course, we understand that the challenge is that about most of the foods today actually are not very much accessible because of cost, or are not just very much desired. So we work, of course, a lot more with the private sector, focusing on supporting small and medium enterprises in the nutritious food value chain. You notice that in the recent a couple of years, we've had over 100 small and medium enterprises in Africa being supported to be able to produce and supply and provide in the market safe and nutritious food. And this we've really invested in terms of the grants that we've given unto a number of businesses to promote their operations, build their capacity in terms of quality assurance and quality control issues, looking at the product development and the innovations that can be nurtured to ensure that we have safe and nutritious food more available to especially the most vulnerable of our societies in Africa. Next, I would say that there's an urgent need to ensure that we have a more resilient and affordable, safe and nutritious diets for a growing population on a healthy planet. One thing we understand is that a lot of our food systems are now a bit more vulnerable to shocks. We've just had the COVID-19, which is still has really tested our food systems. We know the climate change issues that is really now a major concern globally, and we really want to ensure that could we make our food systems to be a bit more resilient to some of these shocks, looking at the cost of food, which is extremely out of reach for many communities and many people in our societies. And the safety issue is critical because a lot of diseases, or the current burden of disease, has largely been also contributed because of what we consume. So instead of food nourishing us, we ordinarily realize that what happens is there's so much that has come in, and that's why the rise in non-communicable diseases issues that have really come in is largely because of what we consume. Nutritious diets is that something we believe that the business sector plays a very critical role, because we understand businesses, the way foods are marketed determines the behavior of consumers. And basically what is presented is what people would be tended to consume. So the role of GAIN is to ensure that these businesses are able to really provide more healthier foods. And the planet is critical, because we understand that the challenge now is that a lot of emission that takes place because of what we consume really also contributes to the planetary challenges. And that's why everything that we do as GAIN, we consider the planetary boundaries in terms of our commitments, either in line with the Paris commitments, but also ensuring that at least there is a reduction in carbon emissions. And that is in terms of part and parcel of what we do every day. So we need innovations that to be able to help us really nurture this and also to advance this particular goal as GAIN. And as I've said, that GAIN is driven by a vision of a world without malnutrition, where all people have access to and can consume nutritious and safe food. So funding and networking play very clear roles in moving solutions from an idea to something ready to scale. Remember, we work with very nascent and SMEs, but then we are ready to walk the journey, and knowing very well that they also have extreme burden to ensure that they're also able to really get into the market that is already even actually, having bigger players like the multinational companies and all this. But then how do we able to make them be also competitive? And that's what GAIN do every day. So we really look through innovations and to work with them in terms of capacity building, assigning technical experts to work together with our innovators in terms of either product development, looking at labeling, meeting standards that have been set in countries and even regionally, so that at least they are able to compete effectively in terms of also addressing malnutrition across the globe. So that is a briefing about GAIN, but we are more than willing to share much more. And as I've mentioned again, we also co-host or co-chair the Sun Business Network globally. That is GAIN and the World Food Programs. And we understand what SBN or the Sun Business Network has also done across the globe. So it works a lot more with these SMEs who have really been mobilized across the world to ensure that they are able to provide safe and nutritious food. So that is what GAIN does. And we believe we'll be able to really provide much more information to that effect. Thank you so much.
So building up on what Charles just presented. When working to find and develop innovative solutions that improve both dietary and planetary health, it's important to take all of these 4 main points into consideration that you see here on my slide, which means that we cannot create sustainable food systems with healthy diets from a healthy planet without considering how to enhance our diets through increasing affordability, safety, availability, and desirability of nutritious foods. At the same time as we must consider the equity aspect and how we can reduce disparity. We must also consider the planetary health in terms of climate mitigation, adaptability, water use, soil health, reducing biodiversity loss, reducing pollution, and increasing food biodiversity. All of this while we positively disrupt business as usual. These are a lot of different criteria, and it can seem a very big mouthful, but it can be done, and it's what we've tried to do through building this innovative food systems solution portal for solutions that are relevant or tick the boxes on all of these criteria that I mentioned before. So this portal is intended to connect stakeholders across the food supply chain and to enable users to learn about food system solutions. It also has a matchmaking function where entrepreneurs and SMEs particularly can find potential investors or funding opportunities, and where potential investors can find solutions that they would potentially want to invest in. There's also a networking functionality, which my colleague Maud will present in just a bit. I just want to say before I pass on the word to my colleagues that we would really like to hear from all of you guys participating in this presentation. Please provide your immediate thoughts and opinion on what we present in the chat box, so we can take this to the breakout sessions after we are done presenting. You can see here on the slide the particular questions that we would like you to consider, and we would really like if you could share your thoughts in the chat. Thank you.
So I'll take from here. So actually, I'll actually go into the portal for a quick tour. So show you a bit like which are the functionalities, what are the possibilities. We've been working to develop this portal for a few months now. We're really excited because it's getting real. It will launch in April, so it's actually in a month that we'll be able to say, well, this is online, we've made it, and it's available for everybody to use as a public good, so for free for everybody. And so I'll just go to the portal. So this is how it looks like in the beginning. And I'll just give a bit more introduction about what's the portal and why did we want to actually present this. So basically the idea of the portal is to basically house and to showcase, highlight 150 solutions and more in the next months. And basically these solutions are, as Anna said, solutions that tackle both diets and planetary health. So dietary and planetary health at the same time. And these solutions really range have really a broad range on the whole supply chain, from production to markets, to supply chains, to consumers, to policies and financing aspects. So it's really a broad range of solutions. And actually we want all these solutions to be on this portal with some information, some descriptions, and then some examples of the solutions. So this portal can become a collaboration space for researchers, but also entrepreneurs, investors, students, policy makers, SMEs, innovators, etc. And so these solutions that will be showcased are one of the aspects of this portal, but then there will also be other components, such as the funding component of this portal, where 200 plus investors and funders and donors are listed. And so this is a database that can be searched by users on the portal to find funding, to find funders, investors for their business. Then there's also going to be opportunities and events. Here, 50 plus, as you can see on my screen, that will be showcased on the portal to kind of make sure that people are aware what's happening in the food system space, can collaborate, can meet, can discuss all the ideas that are going on. So I'll just rapidly show these different components, because I can understand that it's a bit much to just see this on one page, but I'll just scroll through the pages to see what's happening on the portal. So first here you can see recently added solutions. So these are 3 examples of solutions that could be presented on the portal. Here you have some solutions that are more technology-based, for example, 3D printing of food, some more nature-based, urban mushroom farming, and then there's also some other more policy legislation solutions, such as regenerative agriculture certification. So here, when I go to the solution page, there's actually 3 options that user can do with these solutions. So they can explore this rich database of solutions. They can actually also contribute to this database. And this is where we really want users to kind of feel free to share their solutions or share their businesses, share their projects, etc., to allow this matchmaking and this networking across the food system. Because what we really need is these solutions, these innovations, your business or your idea to be brought to the next level, to make it happen, really. So here, when I'm looking at the Explore solution part of the portal, you can actually see that you can search this rich database of 150 plus solutions through keywords or by different filters, as well as with a map. And you can see here all the different, here there's just a selection, but some of these solutions, solar drying, blockchain, electroculture cropping, biodiversity common approach. So there's some more technology-based and some more nature-based, as I said before. Solar processing for food preservation, etc. And so basically, when you go to one of these solutions, you get a full profile about this solution with some information about where it is, what it is, the maturity, the supply chain target, the criteria that Sana presented before. So what does it actually do? So this is as well interesting for impact investors, for investors that are looking for specific criteria in a solution or in a business that they want to invest in. For example, an investor would want to invest in food safety, which is now something that is really, really important. Then they can kind of search by food safety. So here you can see some of the information about this innovative solution. Here, for example, we have vertical agriculture. There's some information about users, about dietary impact, planetary impact, etc. This is still under progress, right? So it's still being worked on. In April, it's going to be live, so you'll be able to explore on your own. We'll make sure that you get the link as well to explore this portal. But then one thing that is really important for us is to make this solution concrete, right? And also that could also benefit the users of this portal, so the entrepreneurs, the innovators, the businesses or policymakers that are working with these solutions. So here, for example, for vertical agriculture, you could actually submit your business and it will appear on the map here under. And so, for example, this could really allow a direct link between entrepreneurs, businesses, SMEs, and investors that are looking to invest in specific solution, as well with partners, for example. If you're looking for partners, it's always great to promote your business on such a platform. There's also a possibility to add additional resources or actually to add yourself as a contact if you want to continue work with these solutions, if you're looking for investors, if you're looking for businesses in this field, etc. You can add your name, your surname, your mail, and the reason why, or your mail or LinkedIn, and the reason why you would like to be contacted to work with these solutions. Then there's also some other tools to actually work with the solutions. So how do you bring this solution to reality in 2030? Which steps do you have to take to bring this solution to reality and to your business, right? So this is some other tools that we are calling the backcasting tools. So that's about the solution. So as I said, there's the possibility to add your solution to the portal, to add, to contribute to an existing solution. So for example, if you're working with vertical agriculture, the solution is already on the portal, so you don't have to add it again, but you can add an example or an additional resource, etc., or as a contact, right? So that's the solution components, but then as well, I'll go to the other wireframe, which is less designed, but there's also here the possibility to contact, to find funding, right? To search for investors and donors, I said before. So there's this, again, the same concept, this Explore database, where you can search investors and donors in a specific sector with a specific funding mechanism in a location, and you will have the possibility to between two, it's not filled in yet, this is normal, it's not full, but you get the possibility to choose between 200 different funders and donors that could potentially help you with your business. And then again, for investors and donors, they can as well propose to be on that list by contacting us. We're also proposing a guide for funding. So this is something that GAIN has been working with Inclusive Business Sweden, and they actually have been working on a guide, a step-by-step guide that really gives information and an overview about how to find funding, how to apply for funding, how to pitch to impact investors, to secure funding, etc. And so this will also be available on the portal. So this is the major funding part of the portal, but then there's different ways to contact and network. So yeah, please, if there's any questions, I see that there's some chats, just add them in the chat. We really welcome all comments, all thoughts and all feedback, and yeah. What would you think that would be useful for you, for your business? Do you think that would be useful for your SME or as an impact investor? Would you like to be on this list, etc.? So all comments are welcome. So then there's also the events and opportunities page. So we're trying to really showcase some events and opportunities, some competitions, some challenges that are happening in the food system space, so that all voices can be heard and all voices can be around the table at the same time to discuss these important matters, which are the future of our food system and malnutrition and of course planetary health. So here again, there's the possibility to just search for events and opportunities through this search functionality. So this is really the concept of this portal, where databases are linked with search filters, and that you can just search for solution, search for investors and donors, or search for events and opportunities. Then there's, as I said before, these tools to kind of bring your solution forward to reality. So bring this backcasting tool. I'm not going to detail into the backcasting tool, but it's really, I mean, when the portal will get launched in April, I hope that you'll get curious and that you'll explore it on your own. But it's really a kind of tool to kind of start working with a solution. So you have a business and you're like, well, I have a cropping system and I would actually like vertical agriculture, as I said before, to try it. So then you kind of imagine how would that vertical agriculture look like for me in my business? And then you come back to the present and you establish the steps and barriers to kind of achieve this vision that you have for your business. And what are the strategies to overcome the barriers? Who are the users, who are the benefits, etc. So this is kind of a backcasting approach that we call it, but yeah. And then just some information about the portal. So the portal will be freely available online, and it's a collaboration between GAIN, the Alliance Biodiversity Science, which has more this planetary lens, and then as well the EAT Forum, the Cornell Atkinson Center for Sustainability, and CISPRO. And so we're really working together to make this happen and to make it launch in April. So yeah, I'll go back to the slides. I hope that wasn't too dense. I'm trying to show you all the components, all the functionalities without giving too much information as well. So you can still discover it on your own in April. But here you can see these 4 really aspects of the portal that we're thinking about. This exploring solutions, this discovering opportunities, component, this finding funding component, and then this moving to action component. And so really we are trying to engage, and this collaboration is trying to really make all these solutions available, allow networking around solutions, allow discussion around solutions, etc. And so here, as I said, I'll put in presenter mode, there is the possibility to promote your business. So this is something that it's important, because at this point, we need these solutions, of course, to be taken up. And so it's important to promote your business, to find investors, to find partners, to find technical assistance. And so, for example, if you're an entrepreneur working with hydroponics, you can add your business on the solution profile of hydroponics, and you can be contacted with investors. But also if you're working with traceability, with blockchain, or with the supply chain, you can then add your solution on the portal, add your example on the portal, and find, for example, a partner. Or solar irrigation, for example. If you're working with that, you can find technical assistance. So the goal is really to kind of connect and matchmake between people. So yeah, I can pass on to Fanny, but yeah, this is the find funding guide and donors database that I actually presented, but I presented it quite in depth already. So I don't know if you have anything to add, Fanny.
No, I think you covered it pretty well. So I think maybe we should pass it on to our colleague Gabriel, who will move on from the portal and introduce GAIN's financing facility.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fanny. And yeah, over to Gabriel.
Sure. Thank you very much, colleagues. And hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are joining us from. So as a good continuation to what my colleagues have just presented for the portal, here I'll just give you an overview of a solution that we're actually working with or working on in order to help boost and grow SMEs in the agri-food space. So this is a financing facility, which we call the N3F, the Nutritious Food Financing Facility, which GAIN, in partnership with Incofin Investment Management, which are an asset management and impact investor based in Belgium, are working on, really to transform the contribution of small and medium enterprises in Africa, so specifically for sub-Saharan Africa, in the supply of nutritious foods domestically. So we're trying to work and identify domestic businesses and local businesses that are producing healthy food products that are being consumed by domestically within Africa, particularly with a focus on poor consumers, and in order to both assist them through funding and financing through debt products, as well as through the provision of technical assistance. So we can go into the next slide, please. Thank you. This will give you, this provides kind of just a matrix and an overview of the types of businesses that we're seeking to work with. As you can see, we are very much, we're very much interested in having a systems approach and working with businesses across the food supply chain in different components. So from producers to processors, distributors and retailers. So really kind of from farm to fork, because whilst there are certain areas of focus, we do feel that a systematic approach will be the most effective. So we can go to the next slide. Great. So just a little overview about what we feel is really quite innovative and new about the N3F. So as I mentioned, this really will be the first investment fund that is focused on locally produced nutritious food consumed domestically, rather than exporting markets. A lot of financing in the past has focused on exporting crops, but this will be for domestic consumption. It uses blended capital, so from different investors and donors, in order to provide the best, in order to provide financing conditions that are as beneficial to the investees, to the specific SMEs as possible. And beyond nutrition, it really takes on, I mean, we're trying to focus on more than, on a wide range of impact areas, not just nutrition, and gender equality and women, particularly, women entrepreneurs is a big focus of the businesses that we're trying to work with. Finally, we really do hope that this facility will not just help a specific group of SMEs grow, but also that it will attract and it will highlight the need to really invest in agri-food businesses that are working in a sustainable manner, that are promoting gender equality, and obviously very important to us again, that are producing healthy foods that are positively contributing to healthy diets and improving livelihoods. And we think, we hope that with the N3F we can showcase that not only is this very important and there's a vital need to support these businesses, but that they're actually investable and that they can be successfully invested in. Great, thank you. So just a quick overview of the type of businesses that we're looking for, similarly, any comments that you can add to the chat, or if you would like to reach out to me or one of my colleagues separately, because an SME, or you have or you yourself are involved with an SME that fits this criteria, I would love to hear about it, because we're very much still in the pipeline development stage. So we're trying to reach out and getting to know as many businesses as possible. But in terms of what we're looking for, at the core, we're looking for mission alignment, and this just means we are trying to find SMEs that have that positive social impact that we're trying to identify, mainly based on the type of food that they produce, or that they're involved, or that they distribute, or that they work with. So the kind of food items, to make sure that those are healthy food items that actually contribute to healthy diets. Then on the financial side, we're looking for businesses that, although they are small and they probably haven't had previous access to external financing, they have a clear potential for scalability and the path towards profitability. So usually these are businesses that have been operating for a few years, 2 to 3 years minimum, ideally, and that have revenues and that have been increasing their revenues throughout that time. And also, very importantly for us, that have the capacity to absorb the capital we would like to invest. So minimum of around $500,000, potentially a little bit smaller than that, and upwards of up to 3 million. And I'll just give you a bit more of an insight in what we mean by mission alignment and the type of foods that we're trying to encourage and support. So you can see here the list. I won't go through it, but this gives you an overview of the type of food items that we're interested in and that we'd like to champion. As you can see, so plant foods, any kind of staples, particularly fortified ones, animal source proteins, but also processed foods, although minimally processed foods ideally. So the spectrum is really quite large, and we know there are enough businesses out there. It's just hard to identify them. So that's why one of the great advantages of what my colleagues just presented through the portal is something that will also help us. So just in terms of the size and the scale, so as I mentioned, we're looking for businesses that are small and medium-sized, but not micro. So in terms of number of employees that you can see here, and yearly revenues, hopefully of around $500,000, etc. So we're looking for businesses that have been in operation for some time, but that are in the process of growing, and that have had difficulties in raising capital, but they have a viable business model, which then can be scaled up. And finally, this this really relates to what I was talking to what I mentioned earlier, but just going to a slightly more detail in terms of the financial status. So there have to be businesses that have some capacity to absorb the debt capital that we seek to mobilize. And for those, apart from the revenues that I mentioned earlier, a positive EBITDA, so having broken even in the last couple of years, will be one of the factors that we are looking for in terms of the investability. And on to the next one, please. Great, thanks. And just finally, just to finalize, we are also, beyond the specifics of the mission alignment and the financial specifics, we obviously want to, we are seeking, in the SMEs that we're seeking to work with, there really are, we think of them mainly as partners that we'd like to, help grow, that we would like to assist. So, things like, reputable leadership and staff qualifications, having an important role in the communities that you operate in, and the reach and the customers that you reach out, that you supply for, are factors that are also important from both an impact perspective, but also from a sustainability and financial sustainability perspective. So I think that is everything from me in terms of the facility. Obviously, more than happy to go into any more questions. I can see a couple of questions on the chat, but if you, so please keep sending those. Thank you.
I think it's a good idea to maybe answer the questions of the chat before going to the breakout rooms. What do you think?
Sure. I think we have also some questions for the portal. So do you guys want to go first?
Yeah, Sana, if you have already checked some of the questions.
Yeah, I've been answering a couple, but not all, during Gabriel's any presentation. For instance, Charo wrote if this is intended for a specific region, and no, it's not. It's intended to be global, so that we can really take advantage of all the innovative ideas and solutions that are out there. We have I think this is part of what Maud presented as well. There will be like a map where you can see different dots on where these innovations have been exist or have been founded. So you can look towards your own region, what has been done there, but you can also seek for information from other regions. And then Charo also had a question regarding the costs for investors accessing information on the portal, I think. And no, there is no cost involved. It's a public good, and all information entries are voluntary. So if an investor sees an opportunity on the portal and wants to connect, and there is the information there to connect, it's free for the investor to do so, and vice versa. If an SME sees an investor that has entered that they would like to invest in a specific solution that the entrepreneur, the SME is actually working on, they're free to connect. So there's like a matchmaking facility, but obviously it depends on what people enter of information. Have you seen more questions?
There's Matthew that says that this is really something that they're looking that would be great for them, because they're looking to widen their visibility. So this is really a platform that is exactly used for this, to widen the visibility of your business and of innovative solutions that are targeting malnutrition or dietary health and planetary health. So that's exactly. And that he also says that collaboration is key, because these challenges can be solved by point solutions. So indeed, that these solutions actually require different solutions working together and different people working together. So to create this private, public, and donor partnership. So that's a really good point, Matthew.
Sana, Betty also asked, could you consider adding policy solutions that are being implemented in countries to support nutrition?
So, sorry, come again, Luis?
Yeah, I see Betty has also asked, could you consider adding policy solutions that are being implemented in countries to support nutrition?
No, yeah, policy is definitely also an important part of this, and we welcome submissions of policies intended for this from any country.
Yeah,
we want to really connect all kinds of stakeholders from across the value. So that includes policymakers and policy solutions. So that's very welcome.
Yeah, financing solution, policy solutions across the supply chain, really.
There is also a question on how does the portal differ from the Nourishing Africa portal?
Unfortunately, I'm not personally aware of that particular platform, but I saw that you did us the favor and answered, Luis, since you work with GAIN and you are aware of our work as well as the Nourishing Africa portal. So thanks a lot for that. I don't know if any of my colleagues here know more about the Nourishing Africa platform than I do and can pitch in. Thanks, Betty. I see you share the link. We will take a look at it and see.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
And just to thank you all for your positive feedback. That's really nice and reassuring. As Charles said in the beginning, this and Charlotte also mentioned in the chat, this is actually a result of SANCALP. We started developing the idea around the portal a year ago. We brought some papers and we're doing some writing up of different things, and we were wearing different hats, so to speak, to kind of explore how we could connect across the food system and really come up with a solution that would be beneficial. And from your feedback to our presentation so far, it seems that we really succeeded, but we would really like to hear your opinion more in detail in the breakout sessions on how we can continue to improve and what other considerations that we should have for our portal.
We will continue the discussion in the breakout rooms more in depth. There's just one more point that from Beth that says perhaps add a link to contact the owner of the solution for more information. So all the links, there will be the possibility to contact the owners of a solution or a business. So there's going to be the name, and indeed, you are making a good point. That's important to be enable connection, and not only with the name.
Great.
Shall I? Questions for Gabriel as well?
Yeah.
Gabriel.
Yeah, I was going to say, shall I go through them? Okay, great. Now, perfect. So what falls? So Ivy asks, what falls under alternative protein? I think that was under the section of animal protein, but basically any non-animal protein or basically something that isn't your traditional fish or poultry. So, for example, actually insects, for example, which are a good source of protein, would fall under that. Also, some kind of new products that you have, you have plant-based, obviously plant-based protein products are, I guess, more innovative. So, for example, things like Beyond Meat or Impossible Foods and stuff like that would also fall under that category. So basically, it just considers this kind of broad, blanket to take in anything that isn't specifically kind of, as an actual product that gets grown, like for example lentils or beans that obviously have a higher amount of proteins, but also not just your traditional animal protein. So basically anything that ultimately has a good source of nutrients would fall under that category. But yeah, I think insects would be a good example of them. Then Rachel asks about whether we are open to co-investing with other investors and support programs. So we're definitely open to collaborating with other different programs. The facility will launch in the second half of this year. So we're still structuring and trying to finalize the first close capital raising. So that is the goal that we're sticking to, that we're working towards by the end of Q2 of this year. So we, at the moment, we're very much, interested in talking to anyone that has any co-investing or investing, questions about investing in the fund or how the program is going to be structured more, in more detail, I guess, than what I've been able to present here. And definitely also regarding programs that support SMEs, we've been in touch with different programs and different platforms that are providing TA and investing to SMEs in Africa. And so, yeah, we're very much kind of hoping to talk to people off the back of today's presentation. And again, I will share my email right now. Regarding so Agnes at Root Capital, the type of financing, whether it will be in local currency, yes, that's what we're seeking to do. So at the moment, one of the things that we're racing for is a currency hedging, risk hedging facility, so that we are able to lend in domestic currency, because given that most of the businesses that we're seeking to invest in sell in the domestic markets, they don't have kind of foreign the revenues don't come in foreign currencies, and therefore we do feel very strongly that this is one of the key contributing factors. And finally, Betty, your question regarding which companies has N3F supported so far. So for the moment, we're still we're seeking to launch in the second half of this year. So we haven't, through the N3F program, I guess, supported any businesses. But obviously, this program is built on the back of Gain's previous experience through different programs in helping SMEs grow. So actually, we've got Lewis here, who has been leading some of the work that Gain has done before. Although the work, our previous experience is mainly solely around providing technical assistance and some grant funding, rather than debt investments, as we're trying to do now. So that is a bit new, but we have we have a big pool of businesses that we have worked in the past, particularly in providing technical assistance.
I think we have 8 minutes before the session ends, so maybe it would be a good idea for just to make a quick summary of what was discussed in the main points from the three groups. Yeah, so I can start. We had a very nice discussion in our group with the people from different backgrounds, some SMEs, entrepreneurs, the Rockefeller Foundation, and I think one of the main comments or points was a need for maybe a function to navigate the different policy landscapes in the different countries that the entrepreneurs may be trying to enter the market there. So we had Claire from the Toothpick project. She explained that they had used 5 years to get their innovation or their project approved in Kenya. So yeah, we didn't come up with a solution to how this should be implemented in the portal, but basically consider a way that can help entrepreneurs and organizations to navigate the policies, and perhaps make some sort of way where it can be harmonized across different areas. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. Yeah, and another point was also to find maybe a way to connect across counties or within counties, because or areas within countries, because that needs and customs can differ a lot within countries. Charlotte, I don't know if you took down some other notes that you would briefly mention.
I think really the key theme on our discussion here in Group 1 was really this need to understand the different context. And also maybe on the map we could go, down to counties, but maybe we could even ask for a GPS coordinate. I don't know what the easiest functionality is, but that was, I think, a key takeaway. learn from and adapt to local context. I think that's a key thing. I think maybe we go on to the next group now.
Yeah, I can present rapidly as well what came out in our group. So we were there was Manish, Kavya, and Karnika in our group. So Manish is working in India with smallholder farmers, and Kavya and Karnika are working with Intellicap in India and in the region in Africa. Actually, don't know where exactly. I think in Kenya. And so we had some really interesting conversations as well about how to promote this portal to get as many users as possible through associations, through newsletters, etc. So there's different options that came up. How to increase the credibility of the SMEs that have been added to the portal to ensure that investors are really interested. If there should be a registration fee, if we could actually have, for example, an extra possibility of tools, more assisted tools, if there is a fee, for example, assisting with business plan creation, pitching, etc. There was some talks talking about offline and online aspects, so that both should complement each other. So yeah, I have a lot of notes here. I'm not the best note taker, so it's really messy, but there were so many interesting points made, and I really appreciated the discussion. So thank you for all your inputs, and definitely we'll keep in contact after. The portal should launch in 1 month, so we'll definitely keep you updated of when it's launching, and if you have any more feedback as well.
So Fanny, I can present on behalf of the group, and then Sunny and Gabriel can add. So what was coming out was, one, the need to create awareness before the launch so that you're meeting the right people and the targeted people. And having people flow, a high number of people registering into the platform, and also having the flexibility to improve the platform as we go along, because a lot of functionalities will be based on the needs of the users. So being open to receive feedback and improving this along the way. But there was a lot of good feedback in that it's a very relevant platform and one that will really support stakeholders in the ecosystem.
Thanks, Rachel. Maybe also adding your own point about how capacity building institutions such as Intellicap, which you represent, can participate and add benefit to the portal, where I mentioned that you're very more than welcome to add any opportunities and events that you may offer through this portal as well. Gabriel, I don't know if you have anything to add on the N3F part.
No, nothing to add really. I think we had the conversation was great. The only point that I also had written down was really that all incentives and all efforts to support SMEs should be really linked tightly to the long-term sustainable impact that they're having. I think Kondwani in our group had made quite a big emphasis on that, and I think it was really spot on. It was a great discussion.
And also adding to what you said, Maud, about your discussion in your group, that we could use innovation hubs in the different countries to kind of spread the words, both on the N3F facility, but also on the portal, to increase awareness.
Yeah, and accelerators and associations, these places.
Yeah.
Maybe quickly from my part, also on our Group 1 discussion, indeed, prompted by Gabriel, also Betty suggested also we add on when it comes along, proof of impact or impact studies, or so that we can also really keep on focusing on what does it actually deliver for nutrition and environment, equity and the like. Yeah, definitely. So I think that would be good, and that might be something we'll need to more proactively search for to make sure that it is uploaded, right? Yeah,
and definitely that people can contact us when it has been successful, right? That they have to find investors or partnerships, etc.
Yeah. Also learning from mistakes, but that's sometimes more of a challenge.
Yeah, it's more difficult, right? Posting up a business plan that has failed is not that easy, right? It has to be. You have to be really motivated to kind of do that. But yeah, it was great discussions. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for all your generosity in this discussion.
Yeah, thank you so much. And do you know like the exact name of the website, what it's going to be called yet, so that people can in a month's time go in and check it out?
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be hosted on Nutrition Connect. So if you type Nutrition Connect, you'll arrive on the website of Nutrition Connect. And when it will be posted in the beginning of April, there's going to be some information about the portal. So you can find it there. So yeah, definitely. But we will, I guess that we will be able to recontact you on that when it's launched in the first week of April with the portal, as well as Gabriel, I guess, when the project is developing.
Possibly, Maud, you can also inform us so we can share with our networks and spread the word.
Yes, please. Yeah. That would be really, really useful, as we all have different networks here. That would be really, really useful. So we'll definitely share, interact with you as well. I just noted down your name as well, so you're on the list.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I think that was it from us, and we're all here, and you can find us on the forum here on Umbrella. So if you have any follow-up questions, you can write to any of us here.
Yeah, exactly. If there's any thoughts that pop up as well, or functionalities, or some feedback, please feel free to contact us. We're always open for everything.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much. Have a nice day, everyone.
Yeah, have a nice day.